What's up guys, Isu here, and today I'm going to be doing a video over this small section of the 9.2.0 PTB. The pallet density quality of life update states that they adjusted pallet distribution of various maps, reducing the presence of dead zones. And then they mentioned the various maps that they touched. What they failed to mention was all of these maps got jungle gym variations added. This is kind of big because certain jungle gyms just didn't spawn on some maps, such as 4 lanes never spawning on Coldwind. They also didn't mention that Dead Dog got touched or the size reductions of 3 maps. So I will go over all the realms affected and show tiles added and additional pallets spawned. Starting off with Macmillan, not only did they get edge map pallets, but they also got a pallet at Water Tower and Logs. On top of that, they got one additional tile from what I've seen. They got the jungle gym that came from the Ormond Lake Mine map, and you will see that this jungle gym variant is added to a few more maps as well. Now the biggest change with Macmillan is Sheltered Woods. On the tree side of Sheltered, it could be very dead, and it was complete RNG to have some filler pallets. Not only did they add a lot of consistent filler pallets everywhere on the tree side, but they also added a whole jungle gym spawn right here. Not only that, behind Shack they cut this whole area out, which reduced the size a little, but brought a lot more consistent pallets around the map as a whole. Auto Haven also got the edge map pallets and consistent filler pallets around the maps as well. You'll also start noticing that there are lockers everywhere on plenty of these maps, basically buffing Dredge's map traversal. Funbus also has a new variant that has a very strong loopable pallet that is extremely safe when thrown. Now I don't know if this change was intentional, but usually on Auto Haven maps there is always a guaranteed car crusher and then either a crane or Funbus. Currently in this PTB, it can spawn either of the 3, and there isn't a limit, meaning there can be 2 cranes or 2 fun buses. There's also one additional jungle gym, although it's very rare. It's basically a short wall jungle gym, but it's very split up. I'll show footage of it from a stream because I could not find it after 12 times reloading the map, but yeah. Coldwind has probably the best changes overall in my opinion. So about a year ago, they added these new jungle gyms to Coldwind, but the issue was they were just very trash. So now they removed those tiles and we're back to the original Coldwind jungle gyms, and the map feels so good. They also added 4 lanes and the Y tile to this map, which are amazing additions. And then on top of that, we have the edge map pallets and even more fillers. Another big change is the fact that on top side of Torment Creek, it got reduced a bit, which sounds bad, but they made up for it with pallet density across the whole map. So this is like a net buff to straight survivors, to be honest. Both Crotus maps got some very interesting changes. Starting with the third ward, this map got a substantial map reduction. Basically 2 sides of this map near Shack were panhandles. They both stuck out and had 2 guaranteed jungle gyms there. But now on the left side of Shack, the panhandle got reduced and we lost the whole jungle gym as well. Also on top of me, there was a guaranteed jungle gym that was deleted as well, with that area being reduced in size. Still, I believe this will remain a strong map just because of the main building and now consistent filler pallets added around the whole map. Now before I talk about Father Campbell's map changes, I will explain its jungle gym spawn logic so the changes will make sense. Currently on this map, the jungle gym by Shack and the jungle gym by 2 are guaranteed to be either a long wall, short wall, or a 4-lane jungle gym, while all the other jungle gyms on the map are guaranteed to be TNLs or seawall. What they've done is added 3 more jungle gym variations to Crotus. We have this Mother's Dwelling tile, and then we got this Ormond Trash Pile gym, as well as the Ormond Lake Mine tile that I mentioned earlier. The Mother's Dwelling tile is now able to spawn in the places that the long wall, short wall, and 4-lane gym spawn. And then the Ormond tiles can literally spawn in the TNLs or the seawall spawn. So now that I've explained that, what they did was swap the jungle gym above Shack with the jungle gym that's at 5. Meaning only TNLs, seawalls, and the 2 Ormond tiles can spawn near Shack now. To be honest, I think this was a complete survivor-sided change, because now there can be a consistent chaining with this jungle gym in the main building and a chance for chaining with a jungle gym near Shack. Oh my god, I'm so glad they upped the pallet density on this map, man. Basically, there are more consistent pallets that spawn in the middle, with the addition of new car loops, as well as 2 guaranteed pallets that spawn on the left side of main, as well as for some reason there's a Z wall in the back corner of main. I just don't know why that's there. I still think there's an issue with the middle of the map, like there's just no reusable resources, basically vaults. I think they should probably like, add a form of vault like to these railings. Overall, the Haddonfield changes are welcome, but we just need a bit more. These swamp changes are honestly insane. I completely believe the map changes skewed swamp to the survivor side with these edge map pallets, as well as the consistent spawn of poglog, as well as filler pallets in the middle of both maps. Pelrose for some reason has the craziest consistent edge map pallet density, on top of the most insane middle map fillers since OG Blood Lodge. There are some nice RNG pallets that can spawn on Pantry as well, but just not as consistent as Pelrose. Another thing to note is that they added the White Owl and the Ormond Trash Gem to Swamp, but it might be rare since there's only one jungle gem on each map. I will note that Swamp jungle gems are far superior than any other jungle gems because there are better check spots on them. Red Forest changes were very minimal. They got more fillers, but I feel like Temple of Purgation should have gotten the edge map pallets or a map reversion to when it had an extra jungle gem. They both have random lockers around the map though. Yamaoka got some interesting changes. Unfortunately, they added the double vault tile that came from Autohaven and Macmillan, but they did up the pallet density. Sanctum of Wrath has consistent fillers around its main building, as well as on both sides of the map. While on Family Residence, I don't know if it was intentional, but they guaranteed the hill to be right next to Shack to up the pallet density in the middle of the map. So Mount Ormond Resort and Ormond Lake Mine are basically two different maps that really don't share most of the same tiles. So I'll explain both a bit differently. Mount Ormond for some reason got buffs, which is pretty insane. It was already like a really good survivor side map. Behind main, where the picnic table filler pallets would spawn, they added a guaranteed safe ski rack filler pallet. On top of that, this map has gotten crazy amounts of edge map pallets. They also added random lockers on the edge walls as well. I just don't think it makes any sense to buff this map. But on Ormond Lake Mine, all they did was add seawalls to the map. Literally, they nerfed the RNG of this map, so yeah, it just does not make any sense to me. First, I want to say, Behavior, thank you so much for touching this route, because Borgo was so bad. On Shattered Square, they added the OG Borgo filler pallets back from the release, and for both maps, they reverted the jungle gym changes from like 2 years ago. So now if it's like a wide tile or a long wall, you would know that there's actually a vault or a pallet guaranteed in it. On top of that, they brought back the original version of the Ormond Trash Gym, and they removed the Borgo exclusive version, which is very I like that version because it was cool. They also added the Greenville short wall to this map. I don't know why, but yeah. Just know that they added a lot more filler pallets on this map, both to Forgotten Ruins and Shattered Square. This is like a net positive change, in my opinion, but Killer Mains will hate this. So even though Garden of Joy is technically in the same realm as Greenville, FNAF, and The Walking Dead map, they don't share much of the same tiles. First off, I don't think the pallet density changes touched Garden of Joy at all. Like, no matter how many times I reloaded this map, some of the dead zones that I know are would be dead remain palletless. And to be honest, even in front of main, there was less pallets that spawned even in the streets as well. On top of that, they did add the Ormond Lake Mine tile for some reason. I don't know why, as well as the double vaults from Autohaven and Macmillan. So this is just a net nerf to this map just by itself. This Garden of Joy they just hate it, if I'm being honest. So the other Withered Isle maps did get improved fillers, which I don't really think was needed. But they also added seawalls and TNLs to those maps. Greenville itself got an additional guaranteed pallet your statue side, but it's like a really good palette. It's not like those little picnic table palettes that were bad. So yeah, I don't know why they would, buff the bottom side of the map. But yeah, some of these changes in this map, I don't know how to feel. Now this one was a shocker to me because they didn't even discuss that Dead Dog was getting changed. So for 5.5 years, Dead Dog has only had 4 possible jungle gym variations. They finally added 4 more, being the Ormond Trash Gym, the wide tile, the seawall, and the short wall. Now the Ormond tile is very interesting because it's the first time a vault has faced this way without a wall being in front of it. So it looks like there can be some decent chaining with house tiles to this jungle gym. Another one to note is the short wall. At face value, it is just a regular short wall, but with the correct RNG, this short wall can become the best tile in the game. If the correct house tile spawns right next to it, it can make this vault extremely strong, basically becoming a pseudo infinite. But yes, other than these tiles, Dead Dog did not get affected by the palette density changes, and I think that's very unfortunate. Overall, I think the map reductions were fine, but some of the fillers are kind of insane and overkill on some maps. I hope they tone some down and just lift others up. This was the most enjoyable part of the PTB for me, as I just like map variety. Thank you all for watching. This was Esu, and I'll see you guys around.